Dark greetings. Welcome back to Halloweek. Today we're talking about the psychology of siren lore. We're going to be talking a little bit about where the myth of the siren as we know it today comes from, and then we're going to shift into talking about the psychology of the siren archetype. So I hope that this is interesting to you. Welcome to my channel. If you don't know me, I'm Anna. I'm a clinical psychology doctoral intern, and let's get into it. The siren myth, interestingly, originates from a very different view of sirens than what it is today. In ancient Greek mythology, the siren was actually a creature that was half bird and half woman who called sailors out to murder them with her sweet song. The origins of the word itself means binder or entangler. I found this interesting because binder is also something that is associated with witchcraft, and in a sense, sirens are sort of enchanting people to their death. It took quite a while before the siren mythology started to take on a half-fish, half-woman form. Actually, until the 8th century AD, where the Anglo-Latin catalog Liber Monstrorum referred to sirens as sea girls with the body of a maiden but have scaly fishes' tails. And then in the 9th century, we see the first visual depiction of a siren. Although in the text itself, they described her as avian, meaning part bird, in the image they show her as half fish. And then by the 13th century in England, more images started to crop up of sirens as women with scaly fish tails. Now, I know there's a lot of debate these days about the origin of the siren and which ethnicity she is, and I just want to say that really our modern day conception of the siren is a combination of a number of different mythologies and legends from all around the world. A lot of it is from Europe, but it extends even further out to Greenland, for instance. And regardless of its origins, I don't think it's important for sirens to have a specific color because, as we'll get into it, the legend of a siren permits pretty much any woman to become a siren. So the modern day siren comes from the Greek word siren, which was originally half woman, half bird. And there's a lot of similarity between modern day conceptualizations of sirens and nymphs, which are water spirits that lure men to drown them. The word nymph also originates from ancient Greek mythology, but this one, ironically, has more in common with today's mermaids than the actual sirens from ancient Greek lore do. And within the category of nymphs, there are a bunch of different types of nymphs. For instance, in Slavic countries, there are the rusalke, which are the spirits of women who were drowned and now become these sort of malevolent spirits and drown men. Then there are the French melusines, which are female spirits in freshwater or holy wells or rivers. These are usually depicted as either fish or serpent from the bottom half down. And sometimes they are depicted with wings. So again, we see this idea that originally sirens were birds, not fish. The Germanic Nixie is a female river mermaid. Selkies are really interesting. You know, when I went to Iceland earlier this year, I was fascinated by the concept of selkies. Selkies are basically seal women. They exist in Scottish, Icelandic, Faroe, and Greenland mythology. And depending on the country and the culture, there are sort of different variations in terms of how these selkies are supposed to behave and how they originate. There are a lot of legends about these female selkies having their seal skin stolen by sailors, by human men, who then try to basically entrap them into marriages, and they eventually get away because they want to be free and they want to be in the water. Some countries say that selkies are drowned women, or others say that they're women who willingly went and drowned themselves at sea. They can be very vengeful when they're angered, and they can drown people. They are technically different from mermaids. They're not quite the same. They're not half fish, they're half seal, as it were. But sometimes Icelandic people refer to selkies as merfolk. I also think the modern day mermaid or siren has a lot in common with air spirits, because sylphs and fairies are often depicted as these mischievous maiden archetypes who lure men into nature. And that is because although sylphs are air spirits and they don't belong to water, they're not associated with water, they do sort of lure men into nature in order to devour them. And sylphs, nymphs, sirens, all of these are sort of maiden archetypes, which are at the same time very much femme fatales. They are dangerous. They seem innocent and like young women, and at the same time, they're extremely dangerous. Hence, a lot of today's siren lore, as you can imagine, comes from a lot of different legends from various cultures, from Greenland to Russia. But regardless, here are the important components for how we conceptualize sirens today. The female water spirit, some mermen certainly exist, but the concept of the siren that we're discussing today is primarily feminine. She was drowned or killed painfully or actually drowned herself, and now she might want revenge on people, and she lures men to death with her beautiful voice and alluring appearance. I would distinguish between mermaids and sirens kind of in a similar way to how we distinguish two types of fairies in Romania. In Romania, there are zine, which are sort of like fairy godmothers. They're good, they're kind, they help humans. And then there are yelele, which are actually evil fairies who lure people into the forest in order to harm them. In that sense, mermaid siren is kind of a similar concept. So let's talk about the psychology of the siren, why she captivates us, and what it looks like when a human gives off siren vibes. In Robert Greene's The Art of Seduction, which I wouldn't necessarily recommend, not the most ethical book, but I read it out of curiosity because I wanted to inform myself because I knew he had a chapter about the siren archetype. So he talks about the siren, and she seems to be a mix between two archetypes, like I said, the maiden and the femme fatale. She's a man-eater, in this case, literally. She's dangerous. She lures men into the water, and then they never see the light of day again. What I found interesting in Greene's chapter on the siren was the idea that she provides an illusion, that being very central to the siren archetype, that she presents one way, innocent, alluring, like this helpless damsel in distress, and once you actually get too far out at sea, it becomes very apparent that she is not what she looks like. She provides the illusion of this beautiful woman in the water who's actually a dangerous spirit that's going to end you. Some men want to tame her, some men want to save her, but ultimately none can, because she has this magical power. She is, in a sense, a witch of the waters, because she has the power to enchant with her words, with her voice, and to bend men's will at her way. Robert Greene says, "Keep up the distractions and never let him see who you really are. He will follow you until he drowns." So in a sense, a human woman can be sort of like a siren in that she's presenting this illusion. She's always ever-changing depending on the light. She seems innocent, but actually she has an agenda. The siren's voice seems to be a really important attribute of this archetype, because, of course, the siren has the siren call. That's how she does her magic. It's how she bewitches people. And the siren also has links to Aphrodite, the ancient Greek goddess of love and beauty, who was also born of water, but also very callous and terrifying. Why are we so drawn to the siren archetype? Greene suggests that it's because she takes control, and even if she plays innocent or acts like a damsel in distress, she is secretly luring us out to where she wants, and many of us actually secretly want to relinquish control. We want someone to take reins and to take control, and for us to not have to think about it. In a world where we have so many responsibilities, so many things to do, it makes sense that a lot of people secretly want to be sort of lured out to sea and drift off with the waves. Sirens are also seductive. They know how to use distractions and their voice in particular to enchant us. And this is interesting because I've spoken before in videos on witchcraft about the power of words. Just like in witchcraft, words can be used to put a spell on someone, to bend their will to your way. In a sense, the siren call is a metaphor for manipulation, for charisma, for what happens when someone knows exactly what words to use and in what way to say it with what voice in order to get someone to do what they want. And sirens are dangerous. It goes back to Freud's death instinct theory that we all have this part of us that secretly wants to be destroyed, to be drawn out at sea, even though we know logically it's going to be the end of us. The siren archetype is also a reminder of revenge. It's a reminder of the fact that those who harmed us in our lifetime will get karma afterwards. In many ways, I think siren lore emerged because men were afraid of the women that they harmed back in the day, and the fear haunted them that those women would come back in spirit form and take their revenge. You need not look very far, even in modern history, to think about the ways that men want to silence the women they've harmed. But siren lore is a reminder that nothing stays underwater forever. Eventually, the spirits of your mistake, they do come to haunt you, and they will get their vengeance. Lastly, from a Jungian perspective, I think siren lore can be interpreted interestingly if we look at what water symbolizes. In tarot, for instance, water represents emotions, like the chalices are all about dealing with emotional, spiritual matters. And so if a body of water symbolizes emotion, and a great deal of it, a powerful emotion in terms of like waves, siren lore can be interpreted as our psychological fear of being overwhelmed by our emotions, by being so emotionally dysregulated because of something that we feel we cannot handle, and we fear that it's going to lead to our destruction. Alternatively, a body of water often symbolizes in Jungian psychology the unconscious. It's why beaches are sort of seen as the liminal space between the conscious and the unconscious. It's neither. We're sort of walking on a beach, for instance, when we are half dreaming, half awake. And so in a sense, a seductive spirit coming out of a body of water represents unconscious material that is threatening to take us down, to submerge us so that we never come back up. It's about our own fear of addressing our unconscious matter. This was a really fun video to make. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up or comment what your thoughts are, and I'll see you soon when we talk about the origins of the witch.